Now that I have everything priced, I'm gonna take it up to my antique booth, Green Onion Vintage. This location is at my treasure house in Edwardsville, Illinois. And I'm also gonna take a video of the store while I'm up there, as well as my own booth. So lots to go do. I have to put everything in the booth right now. It's gonna take me probably longer than I expect it to. It always does. But let's get up there and I will give you guys a look at the store today. So here we are at my treasure house in Edwardsville, Illinois. This is where I have one of my booth locations, Green Onion Vintage, and we are going to look through right now just really quickly at kind of my beginning, what we're starting with for the day. My mom has been working today, so it's pretty cleaned up in here. Actually looks really nice. So all I really have to do is just find a spot for all of the new things that I am bringing in today. But this is just kind of how we're starting today. I think we have sold a couple pieces of furniture since you last watched a booth tour, so there are going to be a few different things to start with in this video, but we do still have like that secretary desk there. I believe this chest of drawers is new. We've had that other dresser against the wall there for a while now. This navy dresser that I painted has been there for several weeks, so something needs to happen with that in order to get that to sell. And those picnic baskets I think I recently brought in, and then that Route 66 table is a new addition because my mom did sell a piece recently. So some of the things that have been in here a while, and there are a couple fresh new pieces for you guys to look at. Right now I'm just going to show you kind of how I rearrange, bringing in the new pieces, creating little vignettes around the booth. I do like to stick to common color stories, so I have kind of this light blue piece against the wall back here, so I'm trying to bring in other pieces that are either contrasting to that color or complement it really well. I ended up going with this little Parmesan grater, and then adding in the new things that I brought, the pillow, the car, and that little cookie jar. And then I'm just going to do the same in all of the different spaces throughout the booth, just creating a little bit of a color story and hopefully a well-compiled vignette that is eye-catching. The hardest part about making a booth display look nice is you want to have enough items in there that you can actually make a profit, but you also don't want to make it overwhelming where people aren't going to grab things. You don't want people to be just kind of like turned away from your booth because they're overwhelmed by how much stuff is in there. So it's a really hard balance of just making sure that it looks nice and full, giving shoppers a lot of things to choose from, but also not filling it up so much that they are just like completely overwhelmed and they don't want to look through everything. We've also found in our booth that people want to know how to display things in their booth or in their house. So if I display it in my booth in a way that makes sense for them to also display it in their home, I think that helps things sell rather than more of a flea market style where there's just shelves and rows of items to choose from. I think that displaying them actually helps with my sales because it gives people an idea of what to do with the piece when they bring it to their own house. So I think that kind of helps us edit down our booth and not have too much inventory at once, because when you have too much stuff, it's just really overwhelming to the shopper and it doesn't show them how they would use that in their home, because most people's homes don't look necessarily like a flea market shelf. They look more like a table or a piece of furniture with a few hand-picked items to sit on top that they really like and that hopefully kind of go together. So that's kind of the mentality I have when I'm decorating my booth. I want to have a lot of items. I want to have a lot to choose from, but I also want them to look nice together and be displayed in a way that you would also be able to display them in their home. Now my camera did eventually die, so right here I show you kind of the before of this shelf, and then I'm just going to go right into the after, which is how I left the store basically. I wasn't there very long today. It didn't take me long to put in all of the new pieces, but I am going to go through the booth now and just show you where I put everything that I brought in new. So here you can see all of the strawberry pieces that I just showed you in my last video when I did that Goodwill haul. So if you haven't seen that yet and you want to see more details about everything that I purchased, including the price, you can go back to that video. And I went through each individual item so you guys can see what I bought. So I brought all of that stuff in today, and I'm just going to go through so you guys can really see how I put all of those pieces in here together. So all the strawberry stuff's there with those red beads. And then I'm just going to walk through each piece of furniture and kind of point out the new items that I brought in so you guys can see that kind of that thought process there. So I have been back to that Goodwill just once since I filmed that original Goodwill haul, and I have not seen nearly as much of this spring inventory. So I just think I got really lucky finding all these strawberry pieces on the opening day of our Goodwill. Haven't had quite so much luck since then, but I'm really glad that I went and was able to grab some of these springy pieces. And then for the copper piece here, I just stuck a plant that we already had in our booth in there, and I love how that one turned out. So that was kind of a pleasant surprise, a little DIY right there in the booth. And then over here, I have this yellow canister that I got at Goodwill by Pampered Chef. It's so heavy duty and so nice. I really, really like it. So it's one of the things where if it doesn't sell quickly, I might end up snagging that for myself. This secretary desk has been in our booth for way too long. It's so beautiful. My mom is almost always the one that repaints these or refinishes them. She's sold so many secretary desks over the few years that we've done this. I think we're heading on 4 years now of our green onion vintage business. So we had a lot of action the other day, though, on Facebook when the store owner posted about this secretary desk. So I think it's going to be on its way out soon, but it is such a pretty color. Can't believe it's lasted this long. Normally they go just within a few days. So been a bit of a slump on furniture for us, but it's kind of hit or miss. And sometimes when the weather gets nice again, there's a big upturn in sales. So we're kind of hoping for that nicer weather and maybe some more furniture sales with all that. This is definitely my favorite vignette of the day. I really enjoy styling dining tables, but it's not super practical to have in our booth because they take up so much space. And also, I don't feel like this is as transferable for shoppers when they're seeing this display here. I mean, you wouldn't go home and do this exact display at your home, so it's probably not quite as practical as my other displays, but I do really like having a nice, large, empty surface to play with. And I love today kind of mixing the wood tones with that soft robin's egg blue and then mixing in the baskets and the glassware. So this is by far my favorite vignette. I love how this one turned out. I thought the little bike piece was really cute with it all. So let me know if you guys agree that this was your favorite vignette or if maybe there's a different part of the store that caught your eye a little bit more. I keep getting questions about shipping. This picture reminded me of that, actually, that I had a comment on my last video asking if I would ship that, and I need to catch up on my comments. I'm really bad about those just getting away from me. But I am interested in shipping. I'm just so intimidated by the process, and I'm just very unfamiliar with the labeling and the packaging and just everything that goes into it. So I know I've said a few times over the past couple of years, like, I would like to get into shipping products, but it just seems so time consuming and just like a whole other ball game that I haven't tapped into yet. So I feel like I'm willing. I'm just still very uneducated and just need to take the time to kind of figure out the ins and outs of how to ship things properly. I just don't want to do something that's going to mess up an item, and it just makes me a little weary and worried that something could go wrong with that. So it is in my mind to ship things. Maybe I could just keep it to smaller items at first, like very small, as in this car, like that kind of size. And then fragile things, I get too nervous about shipping them, even though obviously they're shipped all the time. So I don't know. If you guys have a good resource, maybe you're also a vendor that ships things, let me know. Maybe if there's something that's taught you really well all about shipping and all the things that go into it. I'd be really interested in hearing, because I think it's something I'd like to offer. I'd love to sell things straight from my video. I just need to figure out how to do it. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching today. This is going to do it for today's video. My next video is a full store tour of my treasure house, so if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you're subscribed so you can see that video as well. Hopefully some spring crafts are coming up if I can ever find the time. I'm going to try really hard this week to carve out some time in my schedule to be doing some DIY crafts for spring. But until then, I will keep sharing some booth tours, so next Monday will be my next video of the shop. I hope you enjoyed today, and I'll see you in the next one.